Welcome back to Hard Knot Life Sailing. In our previous video, we assembled the panels, gluing them together, and we built the frames to build this hardtop on. In this video, while we're still on the hard in Trinidad, we are going to be fiberglassing those panels with polyester resin and chop mat and building stringers to run the wiring through for the lights. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy this video. Alright, Mary's here with me now. It's really noisy, so we're going to do a time lapse. We're just preparing the resin. We've got all the sheets cut off, as you just seen. Cut the length and doing the first two sheets going lengthwise, overlap these seams, and then the other two sheets the other way. I don't really think it matters because it's just chop strand. It's very unilateral. And we're going to get started. Hey, good morning again. This is the next day. Most of this turned out really well. I'm going to sand off some of the imperfections. Some of these edges lifted just a little bit. I'm going to just sand those down so that the next layer gets some adhesion to the cores. Brought my multi-tool. I'm going to trim it all off clean, and I think the next layer of glass we're going to trim it with scissors right when I lay it, so that the weight of the cloth hanging is lifting the corners and messing them up. I'm going to cut it as close as we can as we go today. For now, I'm just going to clean this all up. Next, I'm going to lay some fiberglass cloth down around those edges. That'll help repair the parts. I had to trim some off because it didn't adhere well overnight. It lifted on the edges, and that'll also reinforce the edges. There'll be stringers later, but for now we're doing this. Alright, now I'm going to let this harden up, and I'll come back in a bit. Alright, to summarize what went down here, I overlapped these last two layers the opposite way as before, wetted it all out, make sure all the air bubbles are out. And if you're wondering why I'm working with fiberglass without a shirt on now, which is crazy, it is so hot here. As I'm putting my arms over top of the work, sweat was running out of the suit, which was pooling up inside my arms. This is how much I am sweating here. I've wrung my shirt out 4 times. It's 40 degrees and it's nighttime. The humidity is so high. I'm trying to keep sweat off of the fiberglass while I'm laying it, but it's dripping off of my body. I'm gonna call it a night. This is all laid up now, and check in with us tomorrow. Alright, I'm gonna cut some Bimini cell for some stringers. Just got it marked out right there. I'm gonna just score it with a knife and cut through it. And then I'll sand the bevel around the one side. Now I'm just gonna mark out. Line it up on that side. We'll mark it out on this side. Do the same on this one. It's gonna be a little bit of an angle though, because really more of a pilot house than a hardtop. I have a contoured windows that come around here. Where they end should be where this sits. Get the angle here. And then we'll do the same on this side. Now I just gonna square this off and give it a cut. And this knife, I think is getting old. Keeps slipping out. Now I'm just gonna put a profile on them. What I'm doing here is, this is going to be the furthest back leg of my pilot house. It's going to be supporting this top. So I want to run a stringer going around the back and right up to this stringer to stiffen all of this. So this is all going to be basically in the air. There's going to be a leg here going forward, and then this is where the front of the windscreen, or Dodger if you call it that, will end. I want to connect all these together to make it rigid. I'll mark that there. Here with the bend. And that will come to right here. So this is one. It's going to go like that. Join here and then like that. And I'll do the same on the other side. So this is the basic shape of where my stringers are going to go. The front of the Dodger will come to here, one of the legs will come back here and join up with this, and then this will follow around the back and meet back up there. And I think this will be pretty sturdy this way. It'll give it some extra thickness. The vertical sides of the stringers is what gives you that strength, because it's a vertical side trying to bend, not a flat horizontal. So now I'm going to mark it out where I want to put the chamfer. I'm just going to center this, and then when I'm sanding it, this will be the line that I come up to. So when I do these corners, I don't actually want to go there. I want to stop that here, and this will be chamfered right through. Alright, next up what I want to do is lay some tape down where I'm going to glue these together so that the thickened resin doesn't stick it permanently, because I'm going to want to work on here after. I'm going to want to take it off, shape the edges while it's all together. So I need to glue these together with the thickened resin, and then when it hardens, be able to take it off. Alright, that's the perfect consistency now. Scrape this off. Taking my mask off now because I wear that mixing that dust. Silica is horrible for you. Let's get this all put together. that's it for now. I'm gonna leave this for a couple of hours and check back in with you. I got it all pretty close. It's flexible, but I want the shape to be pretty close so I'm not fighting with it when I'm trying to glue it down. But what I want to do is shape it to put a nice rounded edge on it once it's glued together, so it's one consistent shape. So in a couple of hours that'll be hardened up and I can take it down. What I think I'm going to do now, I want to make a little jig somehow of this profile just so I get it pretty close all the way around. Alright, I just quickly made that out of the foam. I can follow it along like this just to make sure I'm not taking too much off anywhere. My joint came apart. Just the thickened resin wasn't enough, so I'm gonna glue in some thin strips like this right in the middle and have to let that sit overnight now. So I'm just gonna quickly do that up and we'll get back to this tomorrow. So what I discovered last night while I couldn't sleep thinking about this project is I forgot to take into account the radius on the back of the hardtop. So first thing I did this morning is came over and gave that a radius, added this radius to this side. So now we have a curve going around the corners. Did that on both sides. It's a bit wider than I need it to be, but I can just trim it off as I'm sanding it smooth. It's not wide by much. So that was a problem quickly solved, and this reinforced my corners a bit so they won't break again. The gentlemen here are going to give me a bit more space. We're going to move the hardtop behind that boat because I haven't been able to fit in between here for working. It's been very hard to lay out this glass, so I'm just going to move that now. What I'm going to do next is mix up some thickened resin, and I'm going to put that on the bottom side of the stringer and then flip it over, put some weights on it and get it in place. Alright, this is just a short little segment. The reason why we have the space to work on our hardtop and pilot house, or pilot house altogether, is because the yard behind us that has these enclosures, they were painting, I don't know for how long, but the day we got here they were painting and the mist of paint completely covered our boat. The first thing I noticed is when I went to wash off the solar panels, they're covered with a coating of paint. I didn't make a big stink about it. I told the yard here, you know, I've got paint on my solar panels from the painting going on behind us, and if they had any suggestions on how to remove those speckles without damaging it, because they are soft solar panels, they're flexible panels, so you can't use solvent, you can't use a razor blade. What we come up with is polishing it, which is what I'm doing right now. In the meantime, for my pain and suffering, if you want to call it, they're allowing me to use their shop or their overhang to build the hardtop, which worked to our advantage. So everybody's happy, and this is what I'm doing right now. I'll just kind of show you. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I think you can see that in the camera. Like, this is where I polished it, and this is like the paint speckles. Like, a little bit of that is dust. If I can wipe that with a shirt. If you look there, you can see paint speckles all over it. If you look there, it's about 90% gone. So it's all I'm using is G3 premium abrasive compound and polishing them up. So because we're doing the new hardtop, that would be a lot easier to work on these down below because during the day it is so hot in the sun, and I don't really want to carry these to the next yard. Although we're making the hard top literally right behind our boat, you have to walk around to get there because it is a different yard. One of the gentlemen here got me a key, so at least I can get through a fence that goes from one yard to the next without having to go all the way to the street and over. So anyways, that is this project. It's a easy one, just very time consuming, but it's nice and cool out this evening. So next up on this, I have to run the wires inside of the stringer to have lighting inside here. I don't want any wires exposed, as well as the solar panels are going to come through the top into this channel. So I'll be doing a thin channel here for some thin 18 gauge wire, tinned wire, because it's for marine application. So if you cut the wire and it's like a silvery color, it's tinned. Hopefully this is the right stuff. Alright, we're going to start cutting this channel to feed the wire through. Alright, this fence is not letting me do that, so I'll be freehanding. Next up here, I cut a piece of PVC and cut a hole where the light fixture is going to go. The lights are going to come out of here. I'm going to fiberglass this in, but when everything, so I can have somewhere to mount the wires out of the way.